Wow.
I understand you're now making a movie.
Yes, in fact, it's done now. It's a movie called Never Too Young to Die.
Are you a different person there?
Yes, I play a different person. I play a character whose name is Velvet.
Mm-hmm. How did it feel to be a man and a woman at the same time? Did you make love to a man or did you make love to a woman?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Good Times with Bad Movies. I am Tim Morrison, joined as always by my amazing co-host, Paul. Yeah! Ireland, how are you doing, Paul? How are you tonight?
That was fantastic, Tim. That was just, first of all, before we get started, tremendous. That was tremendous. Thank you.
You like that?
That's great. Yeah!
Yeah.
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing very well, sir. Very excited. How are you today?
I'm really good. Really good. I'm quite excited because we are finally going to do another movie. Similar to Hard Ticket to Hawaii, this is a movie that I've had high on my list for a long time. Never Too Young to Die. Paul, have you ever seen this movie before?
No, Tim. I have actually saved this. This is one of those movies that you've always mentioned. I think when we started out the podcast, you were like, there's a movie that we need to watch called Never Too Young to Die. And you kind of gave me a little bit of a quick rundown, which I didn't believe at first. Honestly, I was like, there's no way this is a real thing that he's talking about. So just always never decided to watch it, just like over the top. I was like, I got to leave it until we're just going to do this one day. And I watched this the other day for the first time. Wow. Wow. You know what? I'm just going to shut up because I want to get right into this, man.
Yeah, this movie is a lot to take in. Never Too Young to Die came out in 1986 and was distributed by MGM Studios. This movie is starring John Stamos and what's this girl's name?
This girl's name, Tim, apparently is Vanity, I guess.
Vanity, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't know this girl, but then I also knew a song she did. So she was in some pop group in the early 80s. I forget what it's, but okay, so it's a quick sidebar here. In Beverly Hills Cop, Axel is in, I think he's in the strip club, and then there's a song playing, like it's called Nasty Girl. It's like, I'm a nasty girl. Okay. This girl is the singer. She's the lead singer in that band that sang that song called Nasty Girl. So that's her. Her name is Vanity. Yeah, and it's like, anyways, I could go on for 20 minutes about that. So yeah, and she plays this lady named Danja Deering.
Yeah, Danja.
I thought it was Danya. That's what I thought it was going to be, but they say Danja. So
I kept on thinking ganja because I think that's it's quite fitting. Because I think that's what they were definitely smoking while they came up with this movie.
Smoking the Danja.
So her, and also starring one of the lead singers and bass guitar player from the rock band Kiss, Gene Simmons. So just to give you an idea of what we're talking about here, and keep in mind, listeners, that this is an old movie, so we're going to find old ideas and old things that people didn't, get. So we're just going along with the movie. I don't know if that's necessary to say anything here.
Well, it's a product of its time. This movie is a product of its time, Tim. I think whatever. That's just, we're going to take the ride here, folks. You're in this one or you're not. So this is, it's going to get strange.
We're just telling you, we're just relaying what the movie told us. Starting with the IMDb premise here. Okay. So, it's action-adventure comedy. After a top-secret agent is murdered, his estranged son, a high school gymnast, teams up with his dad's attractive female partner to stop the psychopathic hermaphrodite gang leader who killed him, and now plans a major terrorist attack. What a mouthful that was.
Yeah, there was no easy way to explain that, I guess. They're just like, here you go. Here's a word salad. And it's something else, too, as well. We're going to find out in this movie. Tim, I'm really excited. Can we just start talking about this? What do you think?
Yeah, I think we should definitely get into this. Yeah! So this movie starts out in, I guess, an unknown location, but it appears to be a dam. And it's nighttime, and I guess in this one particular area of the dam is the headquarters for the villain of this movie named Ragnarok. That's the hermaphrodite that the IMDb was referring to. And Ragnarok basically looks like a drag queen for the most part, I would say. Gene Simmons in drag, which isn't too far off from his actual, Kiss gimmick either.
Gene Simmons in this movie, he kind of looks like John Travolta doing Dr. Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, okay, I could see that, yeah.
And he even kind of sounds like him in this movie too. I honestly think they, like, Gene Simmons probably, I mean, we're going to find out he does not know how to act in this movie, okay? So I feel like they were like, have you ever seen John Travolta in anything, man? Like, have you ever seen like Midnight Cowboy or whatever it's called? Or, have you seen Saturday Night Fever? Like, have you seen anything that this guy is in? And then they were like, do that. And this is what he did.
I think he, for some reason, he kind of reminds me of the Fat Witch from the Hocus Pocus.
The one that rides around the vacuum, you're right.
Yeah, the vacuum cleaner one. Only with like a giant wig, giant curly hair, frizzy curly wig. Huge.
It's poofy hair.
Very poofy.
It's super poofy. Yeah, it's a Frankenfurter hair. That's what that is. They're just like, also too, sorry, just the scene that we roll up on here. This is kind of like, in the Lost Boys where the sexy sax man is playing and there's a lot of like fire going on and people aren't wearing shirts on the beach. For some reason, that is just happening inside of this dam, apparently. I don't know how that happened or why this is happening, but it's almost like a scene out of The Warriors or something.
Yes, yeah, it is a lot like The Warriors or kind of even like Mad Max-ish, kind of. But they remind me, it's funny you said The Lost Boys because you're referring to the vampire movie.
Yes.
I would compare them to like I think they're called the Lost Boys from Peter Pan. Only like they're all growing up homeless. Like, this is basically just Rufio's clan, but they're just like addicted and homeless, I would say.
These are some sketchy looking people that we're going to find out in this movie. Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to take too long in this, and I'll shut up in a second here, but really, we're going to find out here. The line is blurred between, is this a dystopian reality? Is this the future? Is this now? This whole thing and everyone's aesthetic, like, it's almost night and day to what's going on in this. Like, is this guy, Dr. Frankenfurter, or whatever his name is, Velvet or Ragnarok, or like, it's a lot of people, Gene Simmons. Him and his gang look really weird. And then everyone else in this movie is going to look really normal.
And I'm going to play you just so you can have an idea of like this over the top performance that Gene Simmons gives here. I got to play you a clip.
You're right, Tim. We should play people a clip here. And just like, again, sorry, I'm really excited here. Just like in The Fanatic, we talked about like Travolta, oddly enough, and the success of the man that he has an airport at his house, okay? Like, this man has an airport attached to his house. John Travolta does, right? Gene Simmons, okay? I looked it up. His net worth is somewhere around $400 million, Tim, okay? This man is worth $400 million. This guy named Velvet in this movie, okay? And this is the first piece of dialogue that we're going to, just like in The Fanatic, this is the first piece of dialogue we're going to get in this movie to set the tone of what this movie is like. Gene Simmons, out in drag, he's going to hit us with this line.
Yeah, this is Ragnarok addressing his gang here.
My little turd balls. My little scumbucket. We're them good.
He really does look like Travolta.
Yeah. And he's got this, like, he almost like does the voice of the Joker, like the cartoon Joker. Anyways, he's basically addressing the whole gang here. I don't really have a name, but we'll just call them the gang. These group of crazy people. Anyways, he tells them that he has a new plan to, I guess, for his next domestic terrorist act. He is going to poison the water system and thus poison the city because, they're at the dam here. So, and they also say it'll take them about 20,000 years to clean it up. Like, it's forever poison. I don't know how the hell that works, but they basically say that it's forever poison.
So can we, maybe we should clarify this real quick, Tim, is Diablo Canyon, this is supposed to be a power plant, and somehow this guy, through the magic of computers, is going to somehow divert nuclear waste into the sewer systems of wherever they are, and it's thus like poisoning the entire waterway and everything for a very, very long time. But can I just say, that's not how things work. Okay, you can't just go on a computer and be like, here, like that, like your nuclear waste, like that's not where that goes. It's not even hooked up to like the city sewage. Like,
Yeah, it's like the nuclear waste is just like 2 pipes over.
yeah, it's not like you're just like you just hit a button. Yeah, exactly, and it's just like, oh, here we've just connected it to the city handily for some reason. Like that's, anyways, plowing ahead. So.
Anyways, that's his plan. He's yelling it out to everybody. People are going nuts, screaming for him, shouting, Ragnar, Ragnar. And while they're doing that, they bring out this girl who is like tied to, not a cross, but some kind of a fixed object here, a pole, I guess you could say. And she's laying down. And Ragnar says that there's one slight hitch in his plan here. And that's that they lost a disc, a very important disc that has data that will enable them access to these dams or poison or something.
So, I think this disc has the actual program on it that's going to make this diversion of this stuff happen, which, okay, we'll get to that later.
It's essentially a key, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, somehow whatever's on this disc is going to make this happen, which is stupid too. So this guy somehow, again, got this code or something and has it on a disc somewhere. Doesn't have it himself, but anyways, go. Yeah, so that's dumb.
So this girl here is a Secret Service agent, and she managed to, I guess, steal this disc and hand it off to one of her partners prior to being captured. Unfortunately, right now, she is captured, and she's tied to this thing here, and Ragnar is standing over her and basically grilling her, like, tell me where it went, tell me who you gave it to. And she wouldn't say. So Ragnar here finds out that Stargrove is the person that got this disc, right? And we haven't met this guy yet. But anyways, he decides that he's going to kill this agent anyways. And you're wondering, like, what's he going to do? And he has this, like, really sharp fingernail. And then you start hearing the people chant. The finger, 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 the finger. They're saying the finger. So he does it. He shoves his finger into her chest. And she's dead. I don't know if he has like poison in that finger. Is that what it is? It's like dips it in something and
No, it's like a metal Lee press on or something. It's like one of those, you know what I mean? Like it's just yeah, that's what it is. It's like a sharp cocaine nail that you just kind of just put on that's metal, I guess, is what I could shouldn't even know what that is, but yeah. That's anyways, I gotta shut up. So
she's dead. That all happened. He laughs maniacally, and then the music gets like really fun and upbeat, and it's kind of like this nice montage of John Stamos doing gymnastics and acrobats. Only it's clearly not him at all. It's just kind of blurred, and he's never facing the camera when there's a flip or anything. It's a double.
Yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about, Tim. Okay, we were just at the Lost Boys, Mad Max, dystopian world. Now we are in Footloose, okay? What is going on? Where are we? Where is the world normal? Are these people just like the Warriors? Like, what is happening? Has the world evolved into factions? Is there some sort of civil war going on? I don't know. They don't really explain that part of this movie. Like, we're not really in the future at all. This is just a normal world. But these guys are dressed like they're in Double Dragon. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really make sense at all. So, and they don't really explain that part.
They're a very bizarre group of terrorists, I guess you could say, is the only way to really say it. This switches gears right into a university where a very young John Stamos is doing gymnastics and acrobats, and he's I guess he's got a tournament or something or some kind of an important thing coming up.
John Stamos there meets his buddy who's kind of hanging out the window, and he's got a giant, it's like a remote control thing set up. This guy in this movie, we're going to find out his name is Cliff. To me, this is like John Stamos' Q. This guy is going to have like little gadgets we're going to see throughout this movie that he's going to be hooking up John Stamos with. And the first one of these things that he hooks him up with is like a little receiver for his wristwatch. And John Stamos is in some sort of, I don't know what it is. It's like a science class or something. And he's getting answers remotely through his wristwatch. I guess he's like punching in numbers for this guy. And Cliff is flipping through a book and punching back answers to him. This is the cool part. John Stamos goes over to Cliff's home, and Cliff has like an Elon Musk flamethrower, okay? But it's not even just a flamethrower. This is apparently got a laser on it too, as well, okay? This guy, and he's now gonna like show off all his cool little gadgets he's got in his house, man.
Yeah, and this is just a dorm. I don't understand how he's able to get away with making all these dangerous things. And what is he doing in school?
I don't know, something smart people do, you know, because he's a smart guy. So science stuff, being a scientist. He majored in being a scientist. That's how smart I am, folks.
So once they're done playing with the toys here, this guy walks in. I want to say like a dean or something, and asks Uncle Jesse and Cliff here if their parents are going to join them tomorrow for Parent Day. John Stamos lies and says no. His name is Lance, by the way. I don't think we've said that.
Yeah, okay, yeah, we could officially just declare his name is Lance, but like, it's Uncle Jesse.
I don't know how often we're going to be using it. So John Stamos here, he lies and says that his father is coming, but that is untrue because he really doesn't know what his father is doing. As far as he knows, his father is off working with some kind of an oil company.
Yeah, it turns out his dad is dressed like a Ghostbuster in the sewers, hanging out with someone that looks like Chuck Norris.
I'm glad you said that. I thought the exact same thing. I even wrote that in my notes. Yeah, I thought the same thing. They are. There's 3 agents, 3 Ghostbusters basically here. One being Stargrove, Uncle Jesse's father. The other one, Carruthers, a redhead.
He looks like Chuck Norris. But, you know who he also looks like, Tim? He kind of looks like Neil Breen when he does his Neil Breen stuff in his movies and he puts the beard on and he's like fake Neil Breen, you know? Like, that's what he reminds me of.
Yeah, he's a redhead.
Yeah, a ginger Breen.
Yeah, and Carruthers, and this other guy who is not named. As we're going to find out here in a moment, he's not important to the story at all. They're all meeting up here in this sewer to blow a hole into an area that they believe is inhabited by Ragnar and his people, I think. Like they're basically trying to infiltrate Ragnar's...
His base? I don't know. Is it his base? Is that what they're trying to do?
Yeah, his base. His home base is damn. Yeah, I think so. Or at least this is like they're tipped off that he's there, I think.
Yeah, I think they're trying to stop him or something, isn't they? I don't even know what the hell they're doing. Honestly, that's how confusing this movie is. You're right, Tim. That part just blew past me. They're just like... It feels like they're in the dam. They're in the sewers. I don't know what they're doing.
They get this putty.
Plastic explosives.
Yeah, plastic explosive. They put it on the wall, and they set the detonation thing to go. So it's like counting down, I guess. And it just falls off the wall, and they have to run back over and put it up again, and then it blows up. And it didn't hurt anybody. I don't know why they even bothered doing that. And then after that, then they started welding, and while George Lazenby, Stargrove, older Stargrove here, while he's welding, Carruthers turns on the other secret agent Ghostbuster person there and kills him. And then he attacks Stargrove. So Carruthers has just like basically exposed himself as being a mole for Ragnar.
The old double crossed him. That's right. So basically it looks like Carruthers knocked out the one guy and he held up Stargrove at gunpoint there, and he kind of hits him and knocks him down and runs off at the start here. And so they, Stargrove and this rando dude, the Ghostbuster guy, they get back up and patches up Stargrove, and they go off. They run into this like corridor of this sewer thing now, okay, right? And there's like bad guys that come at them with like a bunch of just shotguns and like M14s and like some pretty heavy stuff, it looks like, okay? These guys pull out an umbrella.
Yeah.
And what we're doing right now is exactly what happens in this movie. Everyone starts to laugh, and they're like, and I was like, okay, I can kind of see what's happening too, but it caught me off guard. I was like, come on, like this is what we're doing right now. We're getting umbrellas out, but of course, it's just like the Penguins umbrella. It's like a bulletproof umbrella kind of thing, right? So they're blocking shots off, and they're firing back, and slaying these dudes left, right, and center now.
I didn't even know it was bulletproof. I thought they were just like, surprise, we've got guns under these umbrellas that they carry on them in the sewer for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, it's like, did you think that if you just shoot through the umbrella that would hurt somebody? You know, I don't know, but yeah, I don't know why they wanted to do that gag in this. That made no sense, but they did, you know. So, but they throw a grenade and they run off down another corridor, and they're fighting more guys trying to get the hell out of there. Stargrove is trying to run away, and eventually he runs into Gene Simmons now and his Lost Boys. And Gene Simmons is like, hey, give me this disc. I need this disc. So whatever, you know, I'm going to have this convoluted plan to poison people with radiation in the pipe and whatever. So Stargrove obviously is just like, no, not happening, dude. So a battle ensues basically. And, you know, Stargrove gets away and he runs up a set of stairs here. And we got to play you a clip now because he's going to get into a gun battle with this guy who's got like a weird hair piece on the side of his head just placed there randomly. It's like a fascinator is what this thing, that's how it's placed. Like it's just a random hair thing on the side of his head on like a 45-degree angle. And he's going to run up and try to shoot Stargrove. Okay. And at one point, it's kind of funny too. It looked like his hairpiece just fell off. And then on the next scene, it was back in there again. This is just the continuity that's happening in this movie. And Stargrove is going to shoot him now. And what happened next, I watched about 4 times in a row. So let's just play a clip, Tim.
Okay, so it's I know this is an audio podcast, so it's hard to do that justice for what we just witnessed, but we'll describe it like this. Basically, a dummy, just a life-size dummy, like similar to what you would do, like similar to what you would do CPR on. It is basically just huffed over the side of a balcony, and it's gonna fall down like a few stories, and it's so obviously a dummy. Like its limbs are like flapping, like as it's falling down, right?
His whole back just folds over a railing.
Yeah, the way it lands is like it's like he's draped like a towel over this railing when he hits. It looks so bad.
I love that. That's just the first one in this movie too, people. Just letting you know, there's a couple in store.
Oh yeah,
honestly, you know, hard ticket to Hawaii had a few of them. This movie had a couple. I'm really on this kick of watching movies where there's just like dummies getting thrown off balconies and stuff.
Yeah, that's a popular thing.
This is amazing. If you people out there, if you're listening to this podcast and you know of more movies like that, please send them my way. Plowing ahead.
Well,
okay.
Plowing not even very far ahead. Ragnar catches that with Stargrove here, the old man, the old secret agent, and Ragnar has a shotgun, and he's like, "Give me the disc," and Stargrove refuses, so he shoots him. He blasts him in the chest, and we see another dummy do like a whole like 360 backflip and stuff. It's hilarious. But Stargrove is dead. The secret agent, George Lazenby, he's gone.
R.I.P.
Ragnar, you know, Gene Simmons here, he could not be more happy with himself, more pleased with himself that he just killed Stargrove. And here's what he sounds like.
I'm glad you clipped that, Tim. I'm very glad you clipped that because that is a real laugh from a man, again, who is worth $400 million, folks. That's right. That's what Gene Simmons did.
I just want to try and do the best I can to give these listeners like just a perspective of how just over the top this character is. It's nuts. Stargrove here, he didn't show up to his son's gymnastics thing because he's dead. And now...
Sorry. Hashtag facts.
And then, so after the gymnastic performance here, we go to the funeral, his dad's funeral, and you know, Uncle Jesse here, he's pretty bitter about the whole situation because apparently his dad wasn't really around that much. He, as far as he knows, he was always just out working in oil companies, and never had time for him. So, anyways, he meets a few people there, like that I guess are also secret agents, and they basically clue him in that there was more to his father that he doesn't know. But in the meantime, here's a farm that you've inherited. And he's like, okay, well, I'm going to go down to see this farm. So they go to this farm. So, yeah, John Stamos, he decides to go down to this farm here, see what his father left behind. Before he arrives, we see the farm as it is now, and there is this girl, whom we mentioned earlier. Her name is Vanity. She is also a secret agent. I think she's like a former supermodel, or probably was a supermodel at the time. Anyways, she's a secret agent in this. And she's already being spied on. Because we're looking through like a set of binoculars and watching her like kind of like ride the horses around and stuff. Anyway, she goes into this barn. And after she hitches the horse up, she turns back. And there is this thug at the door, standing in the doorway. And I don't know how to describe this guy. He is muscled, and he has like a chopped up mullet sort of thing, like a pineapple head, or like a broccoli head of broccoli or something.
He looks like a broccoli-headed Rambo, honestly. But he's got like a crazy like mohawk, but it's not really mohawk. It's like long hair fanned over with like a Rambo kind of like headband on. Like he is jacked. This guy.
Well, yeah, and he has a scarf too. He's shirtless, but he has a scarf on. So she sees him. She immediately like does this like backflip thing and jumps up onto this area where she just puts herself against the wall. And just as he's about to try and whip her, he has a whip. I don't know why this terrorist doesn't have like a gun or a knife. Anyways, he tries to whip her, but she's at like a secret revolving door. So she does like a 180 and she's out of the room, and then it does another 180 and she comes back in the room. But this time she's holding an AK-47.
But it doesn't matter here because just another guy drops from the rafters too, and he's also like a Lost Boy thing, and
he's got a knife.
Yeah, and they're just swinging at people, and Prince's girlfriend there is just shooting people with an AK, and Rambo's trying to whip people, and John Stamos comes in the other side of the barn, and like he kicks down the door and stuff, and all of a sudden like a horse or somebody just kicks over. It's just chaos in there now because like someone kicks over some kerosene or something, and it gets into the lantern,
and the fire starts right beside this box of grenades. It says grenades on the box in this barn.
That's why would you not store your grenades in the barn? That's your livestock and your grenades go in the barn, Tim. That's
so they barely get out, and this barn explodes. So after that, they kind of just brush that off like it was nothing, and they go into the house. And they're just kind of like standing around in the kitchen, and he's like still doesn't really even ask about what his dad was up to, like why any of that happened. And he's like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "I knew your father." And then another alarm goes off. So she grabs the AK-47 again and starts peering at the windows. But it turns out it's actually Carruthers, the dirty secret agent from the beginning that turned on John Stamos' father.
Yeah, that double-crossing Chuck Norris Ghostbuster.
While she is hanging out with Carruthers here, Carruthers informs her that she can find Ragnar, this domestic terrorist at large. They can find Ragnar performing at the incinerator tonight. The incinerator is like this apocalyptic nightclub. It's on the fringe, very fringy, you could say. It's dirty. It's underground. It appears to be underground.
It's like a car park. There's like people driving around and stuff in there.
Yeah. There's people like on motorbikes going around. This is a really tough place.
Can we say to at the whatever this place is called, the Greasy Nail. What's an incinerator? Sorry, I don't know how it. What's wrong with me?
It's the, it's the greasy nail.
So at the incinerator, okay, there's a bunch of people riding around on like motorcycles. Okay, but here's the dumb thing. I thought maybe it's not. You tell me, people out there in the podcast world. There's guys riding around on motorcycles, but they're like they have like the heads of like a horse on a merry-go-round.
Yeah.
But they made them look kind of like, I'm gonna in quotations, metal. They kind of put like some like scary stuff on them. They just look stupid. And I thought, if you're an adult, a grown-ass adult, why would you do that? And you know what I mean? Like, why would you put it like some guys, like they showed up one day with their motorcycle and the guy's like, hey, look at this, put a horse head on here. And they're like, why? And he's like, I thought it looked cool. And then the next day someone else did it. And they just like, it's kind of cool. Like, where did they all get that from,
So Vanity here, she shows up because she's a secret agent and she's on the hunt for Ragnar. So she shows up to watch Ragnar's performance. But she wouldn't let John Stamos come with. She's like, no, you stay back. Your father would want me to keep you safe. So he's just like, reluctantly stays back, but he secretly follows her. And he shows up right behind her and they go into this place together. And they kind of have some small talk and get some drinks. And she doesn't tell him why he's there. She doesn't tell him why she's there. She just says that, like she lies. She says, I'm just wanting to get a little nightcap and relax tonight. So she takes him, like that's her lie, to take him to this crazy greasy place.
The Greasy Nail.
Yeah, it might as well be called the Greasy Nail. And then Paul, we get a performance from Gene Simmons here. It's a lot different than your typical Kiss performance that you're used to. This is Ragnar. And by the way, Ragnar is going by a different name. Ragnar is going by Velvet. Ragnar's side name, alter ego, is Velvet.
Can we keep in mind here too, again, I'm going to hit this home so much. I'm sorry. Gene Simmons is worth $400 million, okay? That man is worth $400 million.
I'm sorry. He got it all from Kiss. So
good for him. I mean, if I had that kind of money, I wouldn't do this, but, just saying. This is what he did with his time, all right? He thought this was cool.
It's time for Velvet's set here. John Stamos and Vanity, all these names, are watching. Everybody, the whole club completely stops what they're doing to see this performance from Velvet. Now, Velvet, Ragnar here, comes out dressed in fishnets, very revealing body. Ragnar has breasts now, and wearing fishnets. I can only really describe this, what Ragnar Velvet is wearing on their head, as something that you would think that you would. It's one of Cher's costumes. He's basically wearing one of Cher's crazy, feathery, like huge headset out there costumes.
If you took like 6 boas and you just laid them vertically, on the top of your head, that's what I feel like that is. Or it's like, I'm pretty sure in Looney Tunes, there was a giant red monster that was like a big fuzzy thing. That is what Gene Simmons has emanating at the top of his head right now. It is massive what the guy's wearing. And he's got, like, yeah, you said like a Marilyn Manson bodysuit, but it's like sparkly and has like rhinestones and glitter and a giant jockstrap that he has on too.
Well, and I think that this is supposed to be, this movie, like I said, this is old, but this is supposed to be a reference to him, Velvet being a hermaphrodite. Because Velvet starts to sing this song that, I've got to play a clip, right? Like we've got to.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's play a clip.
So this is Ragnar taking the stage slowly to this like very slow, bassy, kind of like a grungy 80s rock, but very slow, because this is supposed to be a seduction. Ragnar is playing a little bit of a seductive tease here, because Ragnar is like half naked, like is near naked, by the way. Like we haven't gotten that across. So seductively, Ragnar Velvet here begins to sing.
Yeah. Can I just say seduction is in the eye of the beholder, okay?
This is a terrorist.
Takes a man like me to be a woman like me.
Yeah! While he's doing this, so while Velvet here, Ragnar, the terrorist, is doing their performance on stage here, Vanity and John Stamos nearby while they watch. Vanity tells John Stamos here, "Hey, you know what? That's the person that killed your father."
Yeah, like, do you see Gene Simmons up there? That person with the jockstrap on is the person that murdered your dad.
So after the performance here, John Stamos manages to get his way backstage to try and get an autograph from Ragnar. And he poses as like a fan, which, and I don't know. He doesn't do a very good job of lying, in my opinion, because even Ragnarok here, even Ragnar here, he knows that something's up. He recognizes his eyes, he says, probably because he recently killed his father.
Yeah, well, Gene Simmons is driving to the hoop on John Stamos. He's just putting the moves on Uncle Jesse there. At least he's trying to. When Gene Simmons goes behind like a little, I don't know what you call it, like a little changing kind of wall thing, John Stamos slips out like a little listening device and puts some gum in this thing, and he like slips it behind looks like a little cow's kind of head, cow's skull or something like that. He slips it in the back of that, and he tries to fake out Gene Simmons and get out of the room.
Ragnar here, he instantly knows what's going on, and he has this little transmitter where he just like tracked down a little bug and pulled it out of the cow's head or whatever was on the wall there, like you said, and flushed it down the toilet.
So after John Stamos gets out of that weird creeping dressing room with Gene Simmons there, he goes outside and there's this drunk guy. He's giving a hard time about his bike or whatever, and he tries to steal John Stamos' bike. And as he again tries to turn on Uncle Jesse's bike there, the bike just explodes in front of him and blows everybody back. And John Stamos gets out of there and he goes over to Cliff's place and he grabs the keys off him for his motorcycle or something. And he's got to go see this Danja girl because he thinks she knows something or she's behind it, I guess. And we have like a little bit of kind of almost like now that you mentioned the other guy who played James Bond, there's kind of like a James Bond chase in this movie now. We see with, Uncle Jesse going across the desert here and his motorcycle chasing her in a little sports car.
Hot on their tail is like these terrorists, these crazy cyberpunk weird guys. And
they've got their merry-go-round bicycles or their merry-go-round motorcycles.
Yeah, and they kind of have like a back and forth chase a little bit. She runs a few of them off the road, but eventually up the road, they throw down this tire spike and she goes through it and they basically get mobbed. They manage to kill a few of them, but they both get mobbed. And Uncle Jesse gets captured. They both get captured. It would seem as though he's like knocked out or something. And then instantly we're back at the farm. He's like back at his dad's house on the farmland here. And I really like this part. He goes into the kitchen and there's two goons there waiting for him. So apparently they just like brought him back here to his dad's home so that they can like kind of basically coerce him into revealing where the disc is. And I think at this point, he doesn't even know where the disc is himself. So they slam his head into the sink and they keep doing this move where they just slam his face back and forth through dishes, like just thrashing his head around, breaking dishes over and over. And then they lift him up and they're like, "Oh, you want some more?" And they smash his head through some more dishes. These guys just kind of basically bully him and beat him up around this house. And then kind of out of nowhere, he just develops like mad fighting skills and kicks the crap out of these two and chases them out throws them through the window of the home and then chases them out of the yard with a shotgun. So anyways, after that's over with, he finds this like little coin.
Well, you know what happened there, Tim? It actually is he had a necklace that fell on the ground and started to glow. So this necklace, and I think we kind of forgot to mention this at one point. He gets this necklace now, and he finds out it's his dad's necklace, okay? And it says Stargrove on it. So, and everyone knows that it's like the Stargrove necklace. Because at the beginning of the movie, the girl that got killed, she had this necklace on, and Gene Simmons was like, Stargrove. So, I mean, I kind of had a question just about that initially, and maybe I'll just quickly get this out of the way. If you're a secret agent, right, why would you have a necklace with like a symbol on it, right? Because a symbol is a calling card. You know what I mean? Like Prince is a symbol, Batman has a symbol. It's not really inconspicuous. Do you know what I mean? It's like McDonald's has a symbol. You know?
And apparently it's his real name too. Like on there. It's like, yeah. It's not even a moniker or not a moniker. Yeah, just like a secret identity. It's our actual real name on a necklace.
But the necklace falls on the ground, okay? And for some reason, like the floorboards start heating up and like glowing and flashing and flickering. And he slips this coin, like, well, it's like a pendant kind of like necklace thing into this slot, and it's like a key, and it opens up the floorboard now for some reason. Again, like if you're a secret agent, why would you want something that if you dropped it on the floor, it's gonna give away your secret spy lair? Because that's what happens here.
So yeah, he discovers that his dad was actually a secret agent and all this stuff, and I guess now he's like kind of like out for revenge. Like he's really into this secret agent game, and he wants to take part. Meanwhile, we go to Ragnar's lair, where he has Robert Englund on a computer. Basically, by the way, Robert Englund he's most famously known for playing Freddy Krueger. So anyways, he's basically here using this computer and just talking about the jargon, detailing how he's going to help poison the water system. So Uncle Jesse here and his friend from earlier, Cliff, they decide that they are going to go and try and rescue Vanity because she is still held captive by Ragnar's crew here. And they're in this like random little steel mill, I guess. I don't know what this place is, but it looks like an abandoned factory. And they're trying to get the location, the device out of Vanity here. So they've got her strapped to like basically a steel slab that is heating up. They're basically trying to fry her in an incinerator. This might actually be, now that I think about it, I think that his lair is the incinerator.
Oh, maybe that's what the bar is called.
The bar, like the where he performs.
But it's a real incinerator. I don't really. Yeah, they don't really explain all that.
Yeah, because there's an incinerator here. Anyway, sorry, getting off track. Back in broad daylight here, Vanity is held captive here, and she is placed in the incinerator. And Uncle Jesse and his friend here, they manage to break into this place and rescue Vanity from the this incinerator, and they all escape alive. And then now we are back at, I guess, their secret agent headquarters, sort of being debriefed with Carruthers, the redhead guy who's the dirty cop. So Carruthers has a new plan. He says that Ragnarok is not going to stop. He'll stop at nothing to get them, and especially Stargrove. So he has a plan. Carruthers has a plan here that he's going to use John Stamos and Vanity as bait, and they're going to lure Ragnar out of hiding and like basically come and try and get them. So their plan to lure him is kind of this really awkward scene that happens here. I don't want to spend too much time on this because there's so much more crazy stuff that happens in this movie. But basically they're very flirtatious around this little cottage house, and he is like entranced, like almost into a creepyish kind of extent here, where she starts putting on like body lotion or sunblock. I don't know what it is. And he is just like ogling her like crazy. Like he even takes a chair and sets it down and just stares at her with his hands in his, like cupping his face in his hands. It's weird. Carruthers is like standing up on a hill, like with the other secret agents. And he's watching them through binoculars. And then he decides to tell, he's like, all right, Ragnar's going to come here. Ragnar's going to be here anytime, and we're going to get him. And he sends off John Stamos' friend to go get something, and then we just see him get clobbered, like kind of out of view from Carruthers here. We just see John Stamos' friend get clobbered. And it appears to be somebody wearing like the same kind of secret agent uniform that they all wear, but just like a desert storm camo gear for some reason. Anyways, so we know that he's been taken captive now, and wouldn't you know it, it's actually Broccoli Head. He's back, the Broccoli Head henchman from earlier, whom we thought blew up in the barn, is back, and he looks, I don't know, just as weird as he did before. And then this is kind of confusing, but this is what happened. A bunch of troops walk into the house where John Stamos and Vanity are, and they're basically disguised as secret agents, so that the secret agents on the hill watching can't tell the difference. And they actually bring in a body double too. I don't know how they managed to sneak all these people in there, but they bring them each a body double of the other person, like a twin almost, like someone that they found outside that like looked a lot like them, and dressed them up in the same similar clothes and switched them out. So now John Stamos and Vanity have been taken captive. They've been kidnapped and placed into a helicopter. It's being flown by Carruthers. Carruthers slowly turns around and reveals himself to actually be Ragnar. This is Gene Simmons.
Play this clip, Tim. Play this clip for the people at home.
This is some prime stuff right here, guys. This is
what you watch a crappy movie like this for. This scene.
Brothers and Ragnar!
He kind of looks like China.
yeah. He looks like this secret, like this straight-laced, red-headed Secret Service agent, and he takes off normal-looking prosthetics to reveal like his normal drag queen-looking self as Ragnar. It is so over the top. It's hilarious. He's really, really quite proud. He's really quite pleased with himself. Like, you can just see him with the way he's like maniacally smiling and laughing and like almost like pointing fingers at him, like, I got you. Ooh, hoo, hoo. He. Yeah.
You know, it was like that intro in The Office when Dwight kept dressing up as different people. Like, it was just the backs of their heads. That is the level of disguise and reveal. And when they show you this guy, it is amazing. That was pure gold when I first saw that, because I was not expecting that at all. And just to see this guy who looks like Chuck Norris, like I said, and or Neil Breen, homeless Neil Breen, and he just pulls down the glasses, and he's got like a butterfly eyelash things going on off his face, and he starts pulling off his beard.
It's funny that he reveals more makeup. Like, the more layers he takes off, that there's more makeup and all these like prosthetics actually on his face. It's really,
honestly, that makes him more disturbing to me personally. That's creepy.
Now that we've gotten to that reveal, Paul, when you first watched that, do you notice that was Gene Simmons the whole movie, right?
No, honestly, I got fooled. I felt like a dick. I was like, wow.
Oh,
because I really wasn't paying attention, because I was like, this is a dumb movie. And I was writing notes, and, I was looking at this guy Carruthers, and he'd show up every so often. And I just I was like, this guy looks like, that's what I was like, looks like Neil Breen, lol. And I was like going on with my day, and then I saw that, and I was like, I'm an idiot. Because I'm usually pretty good at picking stuff out like this, and, I failed.
I looked on Reddit just because I was curious about that reveal and how many people were tricked and stuff. And don't be so hard on yourself, because it's pretty 50-50. A lot of people had no idea that was Gene Simmons.
Oh, it just pissed me off. I was like, I'm an idiot.
I could tell. To me, it was so obvious that I was like, the first time I watched this, it was so obvious to me that I was like, are they trying? Like, I wasn't even sure if they were trying to trick me or not. Like, I was genuinely confused as to what they were going for here, but. Yeah, so they're back at the dam now, the incinerator lounge lair.
Bar and grill.
right beside, like, seemingly attached to the dam here. It's broad daylight, and everybody is full tilt boogie crazy, like absolutely nuts. Ragnar is sitting upon a throne outside while everyone cheers, and he just has, like, this bucket of drugs that he gives out. There are a whole bunch of different colored pills. And he's like, here, some placebo for you all. And just like gives everybody drugs and brings out Uncle Jesse to basically interrogate him into getting this disc again. But Uncle Jesse basically just kind of like with the tenacity of like a fourth grader, is just like, I bet you couldn't beat me one-on-one, and just starts like taunting him. And I guess he gets the better of Ragnar's pride here, and Ragnar decides that, yeah, you can take one of my henchmen on one-on-one in a street fight.
Yeah, and he's gonna fight Broccoli Head Rambo, Tim.
Yeah, so he's gonna let him fight Broccoli Head guy. And meanwhile, Gene Simmons has Vanity and is just like making out with her, shoving his giant tongue down her throat. And basically, long story short, John Stamos just slightly gets the better of Broccoli Head guy in this hand-to-hand combat and manages to just like grab an AK-47 and just start shooting everybody. Apparently, it's like the only gun here in this place, and he managed to grab it and just start shooting. And, you know, everybody disperses. There's chaos everywhere. The Secret Service team shows up. They basically give a full-on assault here. And now it's just Ragnar and his computer tech guy in the basement. And he says there is still a way that they can activate this poison thing or whatever, open the gates to unleash the poison in the water. And it is to use this remote briefcase. They have to be within a certain distance of this particular part of the dam. And he can start this process by remote with this briefcase.
If they could go ahead and just show up with a remote detonator, okay, and just explode this thing, why did we spend an entire movie trying to chase down John Stamos for this damn key?
Why did he just keep the plan to himself? Why is he like yelling at everybody?
Why did he just not show up with Robert Englund the next day and blow it up with the remote?
Paul, he's in the Secret Service. Okay? It's like, this is the reveal that we're like, it's hard to just like, there's so much craziness that we still have to get to here. So we're just like breezing over the fact that it was revealed here that Ragnar is actually within the Secret Service. And it's so weird that he is like this Secret Service agent. And then on the other side, he's Ragnar, this crazy guy who just wants to poison the water. Surely if you want to do harm on like, you know, mankind or something, you could probably do something like a better way while you're infiltrating the Secret Service. Giant shootout here. Ragnar steals this semi truck. So they're cruising down the highway. John Stamos is chasing him on the dirt bike. Ragnar seems to have like a good head start. He gets out of the semi and he's carrying this giant silver briefcase. I don't know how well we can do this justice, but here's our last clip. This is on his way to the spot on the dam where he needs to activate this briefcase and, you know, poison the water. He is like maniacally just like running along. He looks like such a giddy witch. Like in his high heels, he is just like bobbing back and forth, cackling the whole way down this huge, long trail, I guess, or I don't know, this pathway. And he snatches these flowers along the way. And it just reminds me of like what a crazy bride would look like running out of a wedding or something. He's just running down this giant aisleway by himself in broad daylight, this heavy dress, this heavy getup, swinging these flowers around. And he just loves it. I won, he says. He's crazy.
I think he's just more excited that maybe he's thought that he's won. Maybe not so much the flowers. I think that's kind of that's a cherry on the top for him, maybe, you know? Here's the showdown, Tim. John Stamos hanging on the edge of the railing here. What's going to happen, you know? And there's a helicopter up at the top, we should say, too, with whatever her name is, Danja or Vanity, right? And it's crazy. She's got this, like, it looks like a Dirty Harry kind of Magnum, but like with an extended barrel. It's not a sniper rifle, okay? You'd think in a helicopter, you'd have like a rifle or something. She's got like, again, like I said, like it's like a handgun with a scope on it. And she's like trying to shoot this guy. Like, this is the most useless part of this movie. I don't understand this part, okay? That's happening. John Stamos hanging on the edge of this railing, gripping on for dear life. There is Gene Simmons standing above him with this little metal riding crop thing that he's going to bludgeon him with. And all of a sudden, John Stamos is like, I just want to tell you that I think you're beautiful. Gene Simmons is like, he's like, yeah, baby, yeah. Or like he didn't really say that, but he did something kind of like that. And he gets all like,
He's into it.
yeah, he gets all frisky with him. And
Yeah.
he starts sticking out his tongue and going like all creepy. So he like goes to make out with him, and all of a sudden, John Stamos grabs him by the hand and he sticks him with his finger. He gives him his finger. Finger. That's right. And then all of a sudden, John Stamos from the top ropes give him a Hurricane Rana, just flips him right over the edge. And this dummy, again, folks, for the second or third time in this movie, goes flying off the top ropes. Like 150 feet down. It just hits the bottom.
And again, you can see its limbs like flapping in the wind because it's a dummy, right? It has no weight.
It's just a straight up shot of a dummy for like 7 seconds.
Yeah, they just tossed the dummy down over a dam.
There's one point we see it later on. They try to show you like it's like the grizzly seed. It's literally a floppy dummy laying there, and then the head like separated like 20 feet on the other side. Amazing. Anyways, top marks to John Stamos for that move. I love that. That was slick. So that's it. Looks like Gene Simmons is dead. Honestly, I watched that scene probably again another 3-4 times in a row. Just love that one. And then he turns around and he's trying to disarm the bomb now, and he's having a really hard time. He's hitting in codes and stuff, I guess, and nothing's really working, it seems like.
Okay, yeah. Paul, this really confused me. Keep going because I want you to explain to me what happened here.
So he's not. I guess he's trying to mishmash buttons or something. I don't really know what he's like. Does he have the key? Did he ever have the code? Did anyone ever say like he knows what the code is? I don't know.
I think he's just trying to deactivate it right now, right?
Yeah, we didn't really explain that part. So all of a sudden, again, there's the girl in the helicopter. Whatever her name was, Vanity. She's up in the helicopter, and she throws down that Elon Musk kind of flamethrower thing, and it hits the ground, and all of a sudden starts smoking now. Okay, like this doesn't seem like this is going well at all for John Stamos here, but it doesn't matter. Uncle Jesse, he shoots this thing off, and again, it's just like a little like I don't even know what to call it, like a little limp dick kind of just grenade thing kind of comes out, and this crappy grenade kind of thing comes out, and it just rolls and doesn't do anything. But then all of a sudden, John Stamos hucks this case into the air and throws the Elon Musk flamethrower thing at it, and it explodes it in the air. And
that's what happened. That's what I saw.
So that stopped this thing from doing stuff now?
He threw a gun at the briefcase. And that's how he deactivated the whole bomb system. I don't know. It's totally confusing, man. That's the best I can do to understand it myself. So he saved the day. I guess that's what that means, is that he saved the day.
So it looks like the generals come in there and said, hey, good job, guys. You've saved the day. And good work, Stargrove or whatever your name is.
Yeah, and then we kind of see them like, I don't know, this may be a few days later, and they're just kind of like in the middle of nowhere on a hill with their doom buggy. John Stamos, his friend, and Vanity. And they all decide that they don't want to be secret agents, and they're going to go study at school. Like and they're going to be together. John Stamos and Vanity are going to be together. But John Stamos wants to keep being a gymnastic because this secret agent stuff, he's not cut out for it, I guess. And that is it. That is Never Too Young to Die.
This is so stupid. This is so dumb. This movie, Tim, was all kinds of just idiocy at every level. Like the writing in this makes no sense at all. Again, like we said, why you didn't need any of this movie if you just showed up with Robert Englund in a briefcase in the middle of the night and you just blew this thing up. But okay, so I was just thinking about this too, like watch this movie again for the second time. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, okay? They were talking about like toxic radiation, like in waste, like nuclear waste, basically, okay? And putting that into pipelines. They're trying to blow up a dam. If I'm, again, maybe I'm stupid, not really that smart, gotta say, guys. A dam is hydroelectric. It involves no nuclear power. So blowing up a dam would not release nuclear waste is what I'm trying to say, Tim. Do you know what I mean? Like that doesn't really. There's the multiple layers of stupid to this movie.
I can't get my head around, like I said, I can't get my head around why, okay, this terrorist, I don't understand his motivations. So he's a terrorist who has successfully infiltrated the Secret Service. Like he is not, I mean, not just infiltrated, like he is a higher ranking. He works beside James Bond. But he moonlights as this drag queen performer named Velvet and as a terrorist named Ragnar. He has like three completely different identities that nobody has pieced together at all.
So he's Ragnar, okay, this terrorist, whatever person, right, who owns a bar and grill and has a band, which is interesting too. I don't really know how those auditions worked. Or like maybe he just had guys like within his terrorist organization. He's like, hey man, do you like play drums or something? Or, I got this cool idea I want to try out. Yeah, or something. I don't know. But he's Ragnar, and then his performance, he's on the stage, his performance is Velvet, okay? But then he's gone in deep cover as Neil Breen's homeless body double. That's what he is. You know, like so that is an that's a secret.
Oh, you mean like when he's in the Secret? You mean when he's in the Secret Service?
Yeah, that's a secret identity. He's like going in to infiltrate. So that's like That's like if Tim Morrison put on a disguise, right? But then Tim Morrison, had a rock band, and you were like, whatever your name was, like the sexy sax man on your stage. So you know what I mean? You'd be Tim Morrison in real life, the sexy sax man on the stage, and then the terrorist guy or whatever it was.
Terrorist by night.
Yeah, right. So there's like levels and layers to that.
And we don't get any motivations. Like, why does he want to poison the water? Like, why is he so hell-bent on poisoning the water in this one particular city? It's not like he's trying to destroy the world, per se. He just wants to poison the water really bad in this one city. You know what, though? I will say, like, despite all this nonsense, like, I really enjoy this movie because it's just so nutty. Like, it's just so wacky. It's like the closest you can get to being a cartoon without actually being a cartoon.
That's pretty good, actually. You've got something there, I think. This is ridiculous. This movie is ridiculous. I can't believe how insane this was. Again, another movie where they hurled dummies off of stuff, which is just like chef's kiss. Thank you. Please keep this coming. Like I said earlier, please, people, if you have these movies, it's goodtimesbadmovies@gmail.com. Send them to us. Send them to our Instagram. I want to see more movies with dummies getting thrown off stuff, and not like Midsummer, because that was pretty hardcore. That was not cool.
Oh no, that didn't look like a dummy at all. That was actually that was quite disturbing.
Yeah, that was like realistic looking dummy, and we're like CKY looking dummy. That's what we want. Like this was choice, because you just like, this is a dummy sailing down. The body is like, it's amazing. It's just arms and legs just akimbo, completely flying behind it. Like Ace Ventura. You know what Ace Ventura in the second movie, When Nature Calls, he gets shot with the darts. You know what I mean? And he's running through the woods, and both his arms get paralyzed. And there's one point when he stops and he looks left and he looks right, and his arms flop both ways. And then he runs off through the woods and his arms are flying behind him like SpongeBob. That is what this dummy looks like. And it every time. And the one that folded over the railing, amazing. Just so good. So good. You know, just for that alone, I think it's worth the price of admission. Gene Simmons' crazy nonsensical song, it was really bad. I gotta say though, like the music was like, did Gene Simmons make this music up? Because again, maybe he did, because it's mostly bass, and it sucked.
Maybe, it's hard to say. Gene Simmons has gone on record as stating that this is one of the most embarrassing things that one of the most humiliating things he's ever done.
I mean, that's for good reason too. But I mean, Gene Simmons is also shameless as far as like selling himself. So that guy's everywhere, you know. Like honestly, I would say like the reality show is probably a little more embarrassing than this.
I would think so.
Yeah, but that's just me. I don't know. But you know, again, that guy's worth $400 million, and I'm sitting here doing a podcast underneath my cold cellar. So, you know, who's winning this one?
Well, I got nothing else to say about this movie.
No.
Better leave it where that. Leave it with all that.
You know what, though? I really enjoyed this because, again, we just rolled into another crazy movie. We had Hard Ticket to Hawaii. We had this thing, too. So I'm so pumped for whatever's coming up next. I think it's just going to be amazing.
Yeah, might have to do another super weird one.
Yeah, that was good, Tim. It's we're getting into summertime now. And again, you know what? Just because we did it on Instagram and I didn't get to say it here and I wanted to shout this out earlier and I didn't get to do it. Just a real quick round of applause for me and you, Tim. Congratulations. We hit 100,000 views on YouTube.
Yay.
That's pretty awesome, right? Congratulations. I think that's great. That's great. That's awesome. Again, just wanted to say this here. If you didn't see on our Instagram page, I just want to say thank you to everybody. If you've ever watched a video, liked it, subscribed to our feed or anything, just hovered your mouse over long enough that it counted as a view. I thank you. Tim and I thank you. We love you so much. We're just a bunch of nobodies, and it made us feel like a couple of somebodies for the day. So thank you again. We love you guys. This is amazing. Doing this has just been so fun. So
it's a lot of fun. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. We're going to see you on the next one. We're going to let Gene Simmons take you out on this one.
But I know who I am, so just don't forget. 'Cause what you see, baby, is what you